Hello, this is Dr. Pravit Verma from AVM Mount Abu. Students, today we will discuss the first chapter of class 12th chemistry subject, that is solid state. Now, as you all know about the states of matter, there are mainly three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. You have already studied in lower classes that what are the main differences. If you see, in solid state the particles are closely spaced, and in gaseous state the particles are very far from each other, and in liquid the particles are present at intermediate distance. It may not so close and not so far. Second thing, if you see the shape and volume, solids have definite shape and volume. In the case of liquid, they do not have a fixed shape, but volume is fixed. In the case of gas, the shape and volume both are not fixed. Now, we are mainly concerned with solid state in this chapter. So, as we know, solid state, there are some difference between solid state and liquid state and gases. These are some main points about the solid state. First, less intermolecular distance between the particles. Second, the solid are rigid. It means that we cannot compress the solid. Next, there is strong intermolecular force of attraction between the constituting particles. These particles are maybe atoms, molecules and ions. And these all constituting particles, they have fixed position and can oscillate about their mean positions. It means they cannot freely move. Now, we can classify the solids on the basis of geometrical shape. There are two types of solids: crystalline solids and amorphous solids. We can see the difference between the crystalline and amorphous solids. Crystalline solids are basically the solids which have definite geometry or regular shape, but amorphous solids have irregular shape. It means they do not have definite geometry. In the case of crystalline solids, the melting point is sharp. It means they melt at a particular temperature, but the amorphous solid do not have sharp melting point. It means they have some temperature range. The crystalline solids have cleavage property, but the amorphous solid do not have cleavage property. What is meaning of cleavage property? You know, suppose we cut the solid by knife. There are some solids like sodium. You know, we can cut sodium pieces by knife. If the surface after cutting is plain, then it is called as cleavage property. But if we are not getting the plain surface after cutting, it means the solid is having not a cleavage property. So in the case of crystalline solid, we can say that they have cleavage property, but the amorphous, they do not have the cleavage property. Now next point, the crystalline solid have definite enthalpy of fusion, but amorphous do not have definite enthalpy of fusion. The crystalline solids are considered as true solids, but the amorphous solids are not considered as true solids. They are called supercooled liquids. Next, the crystalline solids have long range of order because they have the regular geometry, so certainly they will have the long range of order of arrangement. But in the case of amorphous, they have short range of order. Crystalline solids are anisotropic, but the amorphous solids are isotropic. Now, what is anisotropic property? Basically, it is a property of a crystalline solid in which the physical property changes, or you can say the value of the physical property changes with the change in direction in same crystal. For example, you can see in this figure or diagram I have shown a crystalline solid. There are two types of particles, blue and white. These particles are arranged in a definite pattern, and I have shown two directions, AB and CD. If I measure refractive index in AB direction and then CD direction, so I will have the different values of the refractive index. I have shown here mu1 and mu2. So due to different arrangement of the particles in this direction, the refractive index value changes. So it means the crystalline solid have anisotropic property. You can see in every direction, one side all are white particles and one side all are black or blue particles. But in CD, the black and white particles are arranged in what? In a different pattern. One black and then white and black. So the value of the refractive is also different. Now next, we can also classify the solids on the basis of molecular force of attraction. If you see, there are four types on the basis of molecular force of attraction: molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, and covalent or network solids. The molecular solids, basically they have the constituting particles, molecules, and there are further three types: non-polar solids, polar solids, hydrogen bonded solids. In non-polar solids, you can see the examples: solid I2, H2 and Cl2. They are soft solid and non-conductor, and they have the weak van der Waals forces. They are also called as London forces. In polar solids, the examples are solid SO2, hydrogen chloride and ammonia. They have strong dipole attraction forces. They are also soft and non-conductor. In hydrogen bonded, we can see the example is ice, that is solid H2O, and the hydrogen bonds are present between the water molecules. Second, ionic solids. The constituting particles are ions, and there is a Coulombic force of attraction between the ions, and they are hard, and in solid state they do not conduct the electricity, but in molten mass or in aqueous solution they conduct the electricity. Examples are sodium chloride, potassium chloride, zinc sulfide, calcium fluoride. Next, metallic solids. All metals are included in metallic solids. The constituting particles are metal atoms. So the metallic bonds is present between the metallic solids. The examples are sodium metal, copper metal, silver, iron, it is. Now next, covalent solid or network solid. The constituent particles are atoms, but these atoms are bonded by covalent bonds, and generally they are considered as giant molecule like diamond, silicon carbide, graphite, silica. These all are example of network solids. Thank you. We will continue in next period.